Hey everyone, it's Jazzboy here, and today I will be talking about Hello Neighbor 2. So as a lot of you will know, I've already discussed Hello Neighbor 2 in some of my previous videos, but I've never really gone into depth about the game. So today I will be talking about different aspects of the first game compared to Hello Neighbor 2 and which game I think is going to be better. But just before we dive into the video, make sure to join my Discord server if you can. It's a great place to hang out with other active members of my community, but anyways, let's begin. So first of all, let's discuss the design of the game, including the art style. Hello Neighbor 1 originally had more of a realistic art style. However, during the alpha stages of the game, they switched to a more cartoonish art style which ended up being used in the finished game. In Hello Neighbor 2, they have once again altered the game's art style. It still looks pretty cartoonish, but they have also made a lot of textures look more run down to fit the style of the game. Personally, I love the Hello Neighbor 2 art style, and I'm glad we got something new and interesting for the game. As much as I like the cartoon art style from Hello Neighbor 1, I feel like it made the game less scary. Like, I find it really hard to be scared of a grown man chasing me who lives in a house you're likely to see in a wacky TV show for 3-year-olds. And I'm pretty sure Hello Neighbor is meant to be a horror game after all. As for the design of the house, such as models and stuff, I really like it. I love that they haven't gone overboard with the house from what we've seen so far, because a problem that really annoyed me in the first game was that the neighbor would barely ever show up in most parts of the house. Unless he is chasing the player, he just wanders around the ground floor with the occasional trip up the stairs or up the elevator. This is probably because Hello Neighbor 1's house had a way more complicated design. But in Hello Neighbor 2, it looks like instead of adding countless layers to the main area and putting no work into the open world, they're making the house more simple, but you'll have to explore more to progress the game. And the best part of this is that we've already seen the guest's ability to explore the open world, which already gives me confidence that this game's level design is going to work much better with the AI. Next up, let's talk about the goal of the game and what else you can do in the open world. In Hello Neighbor 1, the goal of the game is to break into the neighbor's basement by invading his house and hunting for the right tools to open the door. You also need to complete minigames to unlock abilities that allow you to jump higher, avoid being caught by the thing, and an ability that teaches the player self-defense. These abilities are necessary for the player to go beyond the basement and complete the game by defeating the thing. Other than the main goal of the game, you can go out of bounds and explore the open world. However, other than a few achievements, there isn't really anything to do out there. In Hello Neighbor 2, you are once again aiming to break into the neighbor's house and discover his secrets, but only this time, you will have the option of taking a different route and instead exploring a better open world. You'll be able to talk to NPCs like the farmer, mayor, and chef, and we can also assume that the man in the hat will play a role in the open world part of the game, as we've already seen him lurking in the open world before. This already looks so much better than Hello Neighbor 1's open world, and it'll make the game way more interesting and it'll make for a better playthrough. Now we will be talking about the neighbor's AI and how it will be different to what we saw in Hello Neighbor 1. In the original game, the neighbor mostly wanders around the house doing his idle mode tasks, which consists of using the bathroom, sleeping, etc. But when the neighbor realizes something is going on, he'll go into hunt mode. This mode is triggered when the player does something like break a window in the house, and the neighbor will automatically be attracted to that area. Then there is attack mode. When the neighbor finds the player, he will begin a chase and go after him. This mode could use a lot of work as it is really easy to outrun the neighbor, whether it's by super throwing an object to slow him down or just running long enough for him to lose sight of the player. When the neighbor leaves attack mode, he will likely set up traps around the house to try and prevent the player from making it back in, which again is another mechanic which could be improved in Hello Neighbor 2. But speaking of Hello Neighbor 2, let's get on to that. In the second game, we see the neighbor's AI will be way more smart and sophisticated than before. On day 1, it'll be quite easy to sneak around the house without him noticing, but the more times he catches you, the more smart he'll get. He'll end up learning the player's strategy to get inside, and he'll even be prepared to catch them, which will then force the player to come up with a new tactic to get inside. He will also explore the open world when the player ventures away from the main area, which means the neighbor will still be a threat even when you aren't near his house. Lastly, let's discuss how much story and lore we will get in Hello Neighbor 2. From what we've seen so far, it seems Hello Neighbor 2 will be packed with lore for the franchise, and it will be a big step up from the previous games. Hello Neighbor 1 definitely had a decent amount of story behind it, but no one knew what the neighbor's backstory was. However, thanks to Hello Neighbor Hide and Seek, a game which in my opinion focused more on story and lore than actual gameplay, we managed to piece together what happened to the neighbor before the events of the first game. But the problem about this was that the first game itself didn't really show us much, whereas in Hello Neighbor 2, we've already seen tons of interesting teasers for a possible storyline. We were introduced to the Man in the Hat last year, and now we're seeing more of the Ravenbrook's police department and their involvement in the story. It's also possible that going out into the open world will allow for more details to be uncovered, as it would definitely make me explore the game for hours on end trying to find them, which would definitely be nice compared to how fast you can complete Hello Neighbor 1 entirely. That's all I really have to say, so let's move on. So, judging by how Hello Neighbor 2 already has better designs, a more complicated AI, and better overall gameplay, I definitely think if they keep on this path, it'll be the best game in the franchise. And while yes, we don't know for certain that the game will turn out well or even have most of these features, but I definitely hope it will. But anyway guys, thank you all so much for watching this video. Make sure to leave a like and subscribe if you enjoyed and want to help my channel grow. And of course, make sure to also join my Discord server if you are 13 or up, as it is a great place to hang out with other people. But anyway guys, have a good day and goodbye.